Welcome back everyone, so happy to have you guys back here, and if you're new here, welcome to What Now? So today's episode is more business oriented, but if you're here as an employee or an intern in any company, it's also very useful to know this information. Today's episode is all about markets, competitors, and audiences, and is accurately named The War Zone. This episode is going to be explained with an army metaphor, so I hope you enjoy this. So first and foremost, the battlefield, your arena. This is where the battle begins. This is the playing field where your soldiers, your allies, and your rivals will be. This is your market. Basically, your market is where you choose to situate your business. For example, if you're a baker, your market could be the European cafe shops. Depending on your product, your market, or your battlefield will either be big or small, precise or broad. Just like any army or any battle, there needs to be a strategy. And the first thing to do is understand the map of your battlefield. You need to know the ins and outs, the hiding spots, the open areas. You need to understand your market. This is your market research. This is where you learn all the specifics about what your market entails, how big it is, how many people occupy the same field, how much ammunition is there already. Another important aspect is to know whether there is a demand for what you're offering in that specific market, or whether it is already so overoccupied by other armies. Or perhaps there is no one to witness the fight because they just don't care about what you're offering. You need to determine if there is a demand for your product or service. The next thing you need to understand is the opponents. The opponents or the rivals, these are your competitors. Just like any battle, to win, to make an impact, you need to know what or who you are up against. You need to know their strengths, their weaknesses, who they are allies with, so who they're working with or who they collaborate with. Which parts of the battlefield do they already occupy, with how many or how little soldiers? How loyal are their soldiers? You need to try and suss out their next move, their next attack, where and when and to whom. What kind of ammo do they offer? Ammo being the product or service that your army doesn't have or could have in common. How long have they occupied parts of the map? Knowing how your opponent functions, what they're going to do, and how strong they are is incredibly important. You don't want to be fighting against someone who is 100 times stronger than you are. You will most likely lose. Attack what is weak, not what is strong. Don't go into a market or battlefield that is so overwhelmed with very strong and powerful armies. Find a smaller part of the battlefield that is similar to the one that you want, but weaker. Build up your army before you run headfirst into war. So this next section is so vital to understand that it may be the most important part. This is your soldiers, your homies, your peeps. This is your audience. No soldiers, no army, no battle. They are the people you have to inspire to help you through the battlefield, to beat your rivals and try to win the war. You need to know your soldiers, who they are, what they do, where they're going and where they want to go, their interest, how they function, how they communicate, and where they are situated on the map. Your soldiers, your audience, your homies, your peeps, no matter what you call them, they are your backbone. They will either rise you up or break you down. So know them. Form a relationship with them that they can trust, that they will be loyal to, and you loyal and trustful of them. Your audience is so incredibly important to research. You need to know where you can target them. You need to know everything about them so you can be a part of their world and be better at giving them what they want. The last part that you need to understand is the strategy. I would start with the strategy of the battlefield. You can't fight if you don't know where you're fighting, right? Then move on to your soldiers. Once you have chosen which map and which battlefield you want to be a part of, it's time to develop your army of followers, of inspired fighters. You need to make them feel comfortable, needed, and heard. And lastly, your opponents. Once you have developed the perfect, strong, powerful army, next is to develop a fighting strategy against the opposing teams. You need to know how they think. So this video was a little bit shorter than usual, but I hope it was helpful and made marketing and market research a little bit more fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll check you at the next episode.